Good morning. So I'm going to walk you through this slideshow really quick for our first actual creating project. The color wheel, yeah, you could call it a sculpture, but this one you're actually going to get some pens and pencils in your hand and draw on that sketchbook I gave you. So it's called a Zentangle animal. You're going to essentially take a silhouette of an animal you choose and fill it up with these cool patterns called Zentangles. So what is it? A Zentangle is an American method for drawing invented by Rick Roberts and Maria Thompson. It's a combination of meditation and art, which is it not only promotes concentration and creativity, but also increases personal well-being. They're basically doodles. So when you combine Zen, a state of meditation, with tangle, tangle's just their word for doodle. That's where they get this term Zen tangles. This is an artist that works in this style, and this is kind of what inspired this project. Her name is Faye Halliday, and I'll just play this so you don't have to go into the slideshow and view it yourself. And she maintains a lot of the features of the animals that she's outlining. Like you can still kind of see the nose here and the mouth and maybe the eye a little bit. You don't have to include that in your silhouette if you don't want to. You can just outline the entire perimeter basically, or the outside of it. If you want to choose to include some of the facial features in your silhouette or whatever animal you're creating, you can do that. Maybe that's how you'll separate um, your shape into those smaller sections. So here's kind of an overview of what the project is going to look like. You need to choose an animal silhouette, then trace the outline into your sketchbook. So those of you that got it, awesome. Those of you that didn't, it can just be any blank paper without lines. So a piece of printer paper would even work for this. Then divide that trace into 5 to 10 sections, totally up to you. Some animals will be a little bit different on how that will work, so that there's kind of a broad range there. And then fill all those little sections with these Zentangle patterns. So I've attached a ton of examples of silhouettes into this slideshow. If you're having trouble finding one, you can use this slideshow to actually just present the screen or present the slides to make it full screen, and you can trace it right from here. So you can choose any of these. I don't spend a ton of time on them, but I put a ton in here. So some of these are filled in black. You would just obviously trace just the outline, so you don't have to color this in. So some of these I've actually rotated sideways in order to fill the screen more. So if you go and find your own silhouette or find your own animal and it's like tall and skinny, like this giraffe, I put a little tutorial into here. I'm not going to play it now. That will just show you how to rotate your screen in order to get that a little bit bigger, to just maximize the size of it in your sketchbook. This is another little tutorial just of how to find your own if you don't like any of these. This Miss Olson did this sample for us, so this is kind of what the steps will look like. So first you'll trace the silhouette. She chose a little hedgehog. Divide that into sections, and some of the sections are like divided strategically into like this separates the head from the body, this line separates the tail from the body. So you can just be random with how you divide it up. Otherwise, you can be a little bit more strategic to emphasize the features of the animal. Up to you. And then fill it with the patterns. So she used marker. You can use really any material you want. The key is to keep a fine point, and you'll notice that when you look at a lot of um, Faye Halliday's examples, like there's a ton of really fine detail in here that's done with really fine point. Actual micron pens is what they're called. So if you have those, awesome. Or fine point Sharpies will do the same, or even just black pens. But then you can fill it in however you want. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So first, we put in some of these Zentangle pattern tutorials or step-by-steps on how to create some of these. These are all over the internet. So if you don't like some of these ones, you can find your own. So if you simply just go to Google and try searching a couple of um, these things, you'll find tons of ideas out there of Zentangles. So here's the review. Just the last one is just make sure you post your drawing in your portfolio and the attached document in Google Classroom. So don't forget to always put that stuff into the portfolio as well as um, every document we attach. So it's almost 9 o'clock. I'm about to jump into my Google Meet. So if you have any questions or need any clarification, you can find me there.